Report. On sign language is Catherine Simoloi. My name is Stanley Nyaringita. Now, you're probably watching us heading home, or you're probably at home right now, or you're thinking about leaving the home right now. So renting a house has become increasingly expensive, and for many, the dream is to build a home tailored to their preferences. But just how much will it cost to turn that dream into reality? This is a pressing question for many Kenyans aspiring to own homes. Now, President William Ruto has assured that the affordable housing program is progressing steadily, with the government's goal set to construct 250,000 homes annually for low-income earners. Mike Kagongo takes us through the steps and procedures involved in owning a home in Kenya.
A typical morning in the capital. Millions trying to eke a living to, among other things, fulfill what many, if not all, aspire to achieve: own a home. This huge influx in population in Nairobi, just like other urban areas in Kenya, has created a huge demand for housing, a scenario which has made Nairobi and other major towns in the country become concrete jungles. Owning a house elevates you to become your own landlord. In Kenya, the right to adequate housing is enshrined in the Constitution and Article 43(1)(b). The same Constitution in Article 53 also guarantees the same right to all children. As promising as this sounds, the realities on the ground are far from the promise. In Kenya today, there are various ways of owning a home. 5 ways, however, stand out. Out of the 5, building from the scratch has stood out as the most preferable according to the 2019 census report.
Eventually, the process of construction has many other agencies involved. So you will need to authenticate that the house has the requisite approvals. Approvals are issued by county government. So we need to see whether it has the architectural approval, it has the structural approval, the NEMA certificate has been issued, the planning approvals by the planning department of the county government. All these necessary approvals must be in place so that then you know that this house has been approved by the relevant agencies.
When we look at property prices, there is the developer who is selling you the house or the one you're building. So that's the cost that goes to the house itself. The other 3 costs that usually would come in is a stamp duty and affordable housing. There is a proposal and incentive to see if that can be waived for first-time buyers. But there's a stamp duty that goes to the government. The second fee is a valuer, the valuation fees. We'll always want to involve a valuer, which is good both for the bank and for the person who is buying the house, to confirm the due diligences around that house. So valuation fees is a part of it.
The high cost of buying homes and poor land tenure system were cited as the main reasons Kenyans construct their own homes as opposed to purchasing ready ones. According to statistics from the UN Habitat, Kenya has an annual housing demand of 250,000 units, with an estimated supply of 50,000 units, which means the country has a housing deficit of 2 million units, or an 80% deficit.
In Africa, there are 2 continents which is very highly urbanized, Africa and Asia at the moment. So I think in Africa that we really need to look at, as I said just now, is the integrated planning in order to tackle the urban migration from rural to urban. And one area that I would like to put forward is that not only to have integrated good planning and good basic services in the urban area, but we also need to have the services in the rural area, so that the rural people who are living in the rural area, they don't have to come to the city to get the services. So the reason why people move from the rural to urban, because they want to look for job, they want to look for help services, they want to look for the entertainment. So we need also to look into the rural urban continuum, the facilities to be also in the rural area.
Then you now get to know, I am having a unit of house from Armod Estate via an agreement after you have done a due diligence that have all these documents in place. Then you discuss the mode of payment. Probably this, you want to buy it off pocket. You have your money, probably from a SACCO, or you have your savings, or whichever source. The developer will not probably want to go deep to know umetoa pesa wapi. No, you have the money, you are a buyer. So you have a cash plan or arrangement until which is captured in the agreement, or you are at a mortgage. You are buying through mortgage, you are a bank, or the bank that we have as Armod are in place.
But what does it take to own a house in Kenya?
After you complete paying your unit to get your documents. Remember, the unit is still Armod's, but you have bought it. It shall become yours after you complete paying, and then we issue you with a section or title. Today, whether an apartment or a bungalow, if it is not seated on, let me talk of apartments, even an apartment requires a section or title since 2020, when the law that was there then was declared obsolete and Section of Property Act came into force.
Most Kenyans prefer to build their own homes, a rather expensive venture mainly due to the cost of raw materials. One can also adopt the off-plan system. This plan was gaining traction among Kenyans until some real estate firms abused it, conning Kenyans billions of shillings.
People will always think that off-plans will not deliver, but I want to say they deliver. However, from a perception position, we decided that as Armod, we will come along with our own money. So we do the construction using our own money. So we have what we call a complete unit model.
We work very close with the government of Kenya, especially on the, as your question mentioned, on housing. We work together with the Kenyan government in the implementation of the Movoko project, housing project. And at the same time, it's not only in terms of the construction, we also work together in terms of formulating the policy, formulating the guidelines for the green building, green housing, and also in terms of the infrastructure. So that's the reason why I think now the Kenyan government and is also putting up the resolution and infrastructure that's linked to the adequate and affordable housing.
Mortgage is the least popular alternative for home financing in Kenya, mainly due to the high interest rates.
You can own a house without a mortgage, but you save over time. The second route without a mortgage is where you take, and that's very, very common still in this country, where you take unsecured loans. So you want to build a home, so you go to your bank or to your cooperative union, and you take a loan for, say, 3 years. You take 3 million, you start building. Then after 2 years, you come for a top-up. So you find that house takes you about 7 years or 5 years to complete it without taking a mortgage.
According to the 2019 census, 61.3% of Kenyans own their own homes, while 38.7% of Kenyans live in rented properties.
We do not limit you in terms of how short you can use to pay a mortgage. It's calculations around affordability. If you are young, we can give you a mortgage for up to 25 years. And we can give an example. If I give you 10 million today, for you to pay me over 20 years, you'd pay me less than $1 million per year. So, but if we shorten that period to 5 years, then you need to pay me more per year. So it's a mathematics around affordability. Because remember, our job as ABSA is to help you achieve that dream of owning a home, but we also want to make it easy for you to enjoy owning that home.
Kenya National Bureau of Statistics highlights that in urban areas, only 21.3% own their homes, while 78.7% have been subjected to renting.
Utafiti unatuonyesha ya kwamba tukiendelea mbele, Kenya is among the fastest urbanizing countries in the world. While urbanization elsewhere is about 3.7%, Kenya is at 4.4%. 68% of all our people by 2050 will be living in towns. 68%. Either they will be living in slums, in towns, or they will be living in affordable houses if we have our plan right now. So we need to ensure that we get rid of slums, people living in decent. Dignity of the people of Kenya is very important.
If you buy from us under that arrangement of affordable housing program with government, then you have an opportunity to access mortgage plan or mortgage funding from government arrangement, where government has put its own money into certain selected financial institutions and giving Kenyans at a subsidized interest rate over a longer repayment period.
On the flip side of rural areas, 86.6% of Kenyans own a home, as 13.4% are renting. In the next part, we'll be looking at government's affordable housing projects since Kenya got independence. Mike Kagwango, TV 47, Nairobi.